Hey guys, it's Mana here, and we're back with more Lucid9 finally. Yes, I know something is wrong with my face cam. I was trying to fix it before I sat down to record, but I can't figure out what's wrong with it, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. Sorry. So I can't remember where I left off, so we're just gonna jump back in and see what we remember. I leave the school after Mr. Ryuta gets a campus security patrolman to escort me home. I remember going to the amusement park. What happened between the amusement park and here, I can't remember. Seeing policemen inside campus unnerves most students, so they're mainly kept for border patrol, making sure that no one enters or leaves the school. I've barely seen them, to be honest. They probably don't act unless something suspicious crops up on the gate sensors. Shigure. I'm gonna check something real quick. Give me just a moment. I want to make sure that I didn't fuck something up. Okay, I know where I am. I didn't mess it up. Okay. Hello? Where are you? Her voice is clipped, leaving no room for any extra conversation. Good evening to you too. Your services are required, now. I'm a little taken aback at the shortness of her tone. Seems like some urgent business. Okay, I'm in front of the school. Very well. I'm nearly there myself. Don't move. Sorry? Okay. Well, that was expected, if I'm honest with myself. What kind of business could Shigure have at this time of night? Ishiyama? Shigure struts out of the shadows, her face completely expressionless. Did it occur to you that I might have things to do tonight? It did not. Come this way. She turns on her heel and begins to strut down the sidewalk. We travel in complete silence, definitely a first. I'm only able to bear it for around 10 minutes before things get too uncomfortable. You know, if you're mad at me, you might as well just say it. I should discuss these psychological problems with Shigure. No, what am I thinking? She'll wonder if my sources are accurate. I'll either have to tell her my informant, or I'll have to drop the issue. And knowing Shigure, even if I don't give her the identity of my informant, she'll figure him out eventually. Shigure takes a turn into an area that I instantly recognize, for better or for worse. Nothing is as welcoming as the smell of rotting litter, cigarettes, and traces of burning drugs. I cover my face with my sleeve in a vain attempt to block out the foul smell. Blah. Isn't this District 6? Don't tell me. You're giving me another test, aren't you? A quiet Shigure is far more unnerving than an abusive one. I almost miss her cannon of verbal assault. We have arrived. She gestures to a large, beaten-down apartment complex before us. The dilapidated buildings and littered streets around us don't do wonders for this district's notoriety, that's for sure. What are we here for? An inkling in the back of my mind whispers, to kill you without anyone seeing, but I shove it into some crevice of my brain. It just got really quiet, and I don't know if it's supposed to. Shigure withdraws a simple index card from her jacket pocket, showing it to me. This. There are only 3 numbers written on it. Number 338. What's that, an apartment number? I don't have sound. Is there supposed to be music here? This is unsettling. She only nods. I follow her down the path between the apartments, surreptitiously glancing around for any signs of suspicious figures. What's suspicious is my lack of music. This is definitely not my idea of a vacationing spot, that's for sure. Nope, I have those sounds, so I guess I'm not supposed to have music. Finally, Shigure comes to a short stop in front of a door with the number 338 emblazoned on it. She clears her throat for a second, takes a deep breath, and knocks lightly thrice. Give me a minute! The voice comes from within the apartment, is light, feminine, and nothing like what I expected. It's followed by sounds of scraping, scraping, shifting, and screeching, as if a number of heavy objects are being moved around the room. Come in! Shigure tries the doorknob, and it turns with ease. She pushes open the door, and I step inside, unsure of what to expect. Ah, yes, there's the music. The front room is neat, tidy, and utterly plain. The only messy feature is a few cushions scattered idly about the floor, topped with several popular magazines. Well, if it isn't the great detective herself. My attention turns to a large couch near the center of the room, upon which lounges a small framed girl. Her clothes are edgy but neat, although her eyes are a deep chocolate brown. They're some of the coldest I've ever seen. I swear I've seen her before. Yes, we have. She goes to our school. What brings you to this side of town, Inamoto? Shigure sits on a nearby cushion stiffly. As always, I am deficient of requisite intelligence. Oh, yeah. You're always lacking in intelligence. Shigure bristles. Of the informative sort. The girl only smirks and turns to me. The predatory glint in her eyes snaps everything into place. Natsuki? Natsuki Tanaka? The interesting, unnerving friend of Elizabeth Oshiro. There you go. The way she sits, the clothes she wears, even the color of her eyes, they're all drastically different from school. But I know with certainty that she's the same person. The angles of her expression, the tilt of her posture, it's the exact same. Oh, how interesting. I thought that I'd have a swarm of questions, that I'd be shocked, but I'm not. Not really. I almost feel like a small part of me had been expecting something this odd, especially from Natsuki. Is being a student just a cover, or are you actually one? To be or not to be? Surely that is the question. Shigure clears her throat impatiently. As content as the two of you appear exchanging pleasantries, I'm here regarding the matter of urgency. Natsuki? Natsuki raises a single eyebrow. You know my price. Ah, yes. How much yen shall? Don't feign ignorance, Inamoto. It doesn't suit you. Your almighty brain should be able to remember something as trivial as my currency. Shigure flushes at this. What? Certainly you didn't think I would forget something as important as that. Shigure mumbles something indiscernible while pulling her cap over her face. Maybe that's why she was so upset. She wasn't angry at me, she was dreading coming here. What would you have me do? Natsuki catches my eye, a mischievous glimmer in her gaze. What's your favorite animal, Ishimoto? And do you choose something reasonable, not a duck-billed platypus, yes? What for? She only winks at me. I guess I'll have to give her an animal to find out. Well, I have a cat, so I'm gonna go with cat. Cat, I guess. She smirks at Shigure, who sends me a look of honor. Horror. Ishiyama, we will need another talk concerning your pay. Oh, I guess I should have said Shigure, because Shigure is the name of the dog from Fruits Basket. Oh well. Natsuki cheerily vanishes into an adjacent room. When she emerges after a few minutes, she's holding a full-size cat costume. Put this on, Inamoto. What? Grumbling, Shigure yanks the costume over her clothes and zips it up. Wait, what? There, satisfied? She really did put it on. Give me a nice loud meow. Meow. Seeing Shigure so subdued is pretty unnerving. I can't believe that such a proud person would stoop so low. Just what kind of person is this Natsuki? Now, Yama Ishimoto, a cat is incapable of speaking English, so you'll have to be Shigure's mouthpiece. Before that, however, I believe we have some catching up to do. What are you, an ordinary, ignorant civilian, doing caught up in a nasty business like student murders? I work for Shigure. Dear Inamoto picked you to work for her. Oh, isn't that precious? Two useless fools bumbling around together. A washed-up, headstrong detective who is blinded at the first sign of murder, and an irresponsible, selfish teenager who takes nothing seriously. Isn't Shigure a professional detective? At least we're trying to help. You're right. We're still learning, but at least we're trying to help. It would be better for you to leave this to the professionals. You can't exactly say that the police are doing a much better job. Please. The police are about as professional as taco-selling clowns. Are you not aware of the pathetic state of their CCTV coverage? Why, one can hardly see anything that happens around the city. I'm sure Inamoto found this as an unpleasant surprise while she was investigating into the school. Really, the student's obsession with privacy is just adorable. Think how easy the killer could be caught with a few more camera installations. Then who are these so-called professionals? People with knowledge. Knowledge is power. Hence why we want it. Oh, for what purpose? I'm gonna sell it like you. I'm gonna help others. I'll use it to save lives and stop the repulsive killer. Oh, how childish. I'd rather be childish than a pretentious jerk. She only laughs at this. You're cute. Maybe I should keep you. Can I keep him, Minamoto? I will She waves her index finger at Shigure. What are cats supposed to say, Inamoto? Meow. I think that means I can keep you. Her treatment of Shigure sends a spiral of nausea straight into my gut. What a deplorable human being. I don't even have an answer for her. Natsuki evaluates my expression for a long moment, and something in her face changes slightly. Would you like a drink? Well, that wasn't sudden at all. What, are you gonna poison it? That's a bit of a rude assumption. Not exactly a baseless one. I do show courtesy to my guests. Yeah, because you've been so very courteous. She continues to examine me, a slight smirk pulling at her lips. Good to know you aren't as weak as you appear. Would you like coffee, tea, milk? Some manners would be nice. She ignores this, heading out of the room. She faintly calls behind her as she leaves. I wonder what our little kitten should have. I do have some expired milk I've been meaning to throw away. Maybe I can dump it in a bowl for her. Shigure huffs at this, but keeps her mouth shut until Natsuki has completely left the room. Then she pulls herself over to me, her voice low and urgent. Take control of the conversation and get the information. I can't stand much more of this. How am I supposed to do that? I don't even know enough about the case. Natsuki has amazing connections. She has information a lot of others don't, and so long as I pay her what she wants, we can get it from her. What am I supposed to ask about? Shigure opens her mouth to answer, but Natsuki's approaching footsteps. She quickly shrinks back onto her cushion. Natsuki re-enters the room, placing a glass of iced tea before me and a glass of water before Shigure. I surreptitiously sniff it, which she catches. If you don't mind indirect kisses, I would sip it for you to prove it isn't poison. I'll pass. She smirks, settling on the couch. Guess this is my chance to ask some questions. So, how do you and Shigure know each other? Shigure shoots me a dark glare as if to say, what does that have to do with anything, but I ignore it. As you may have noticed, we have this symbiotic exchange from time to time. I have information that she needs, so she pays me for it. How can we know that this information is reliable? You could be lying to us. Natsuki raises an eyebrow, seemingly impressed. Inamoto thought the same on our very first interaction, so I gave her a free trial period. She's yet to find me wrong. Isn't that right, kitty? Well, meow. And there you have it. She turns to me expectantly, as if waiting for my move. I wonder what I should ask about. The culprit, the victim's links or ties. Is this case related to any other cases, or perhaps there's some info that we can merge? Ah, now you're asking the right questions. You know, the two of you have been so exemplary that I'll even give you a little treat. What do you say? Sure, I guess. Natsuki doesn't seem to be fazed by my lack of enthusiasm. She slowly leans forward, enunciating each syllable with painstaking precision. The independent killings. These mean nothing to me, but Shigure immediately bolts upright, her eyes glimmering with excitement. Tanaka, you must! We're not in Narnia, Inamoto. Talking animals do not exist. Shigure suddenly settles to the ground, but I can tell that this is a vital breaking point. What are the independent killings? For the past 2 years, 2.5 perhaps, there have been sporadic, brutal murders all around Isamu. Innocent civilians with no relation to one another were massacred in the most terrible of deaths, left as bleeding corpses in the streets. The only connection was their time of death, which was always at night, and their autopsies, death by blood loss from uncountable lacerations. Uncountable lacerations. My head spins. My vision from the forest this morning re-enters my thoughts. What does that even mean? They were cut to pieces, skinned alive, sliced until the life bled out of them? Is Natsuki implying that 3 students at the academy went through something like that? How could no one know about this? The police did their utmost to conceal knowledge from the public, lest even more chaos falls on the city. We deserve to know when these things happen. Oh, Ishimoto, the last thing you want to do is tell a herd of sheep that there is a wolf in their midst. The way she says this, as if she's right and that's all there is to it, irritates me. But I have to push it away in order to continue the conversation. So, you're saying that this case is the same as the independent killings. Did I say that? Then the killer is the same. Did I say that? Shigure leaps forward, words tumbling excitedly out of her mouth. The killer is one and the same, for the longest time. Hush, Inamoto. Remember, cats can't speak. Shigure withdraws, a dark glare in her eye. Why do you treat Shigure like that? You can say that even after seeing how she treats everyone around her? She pretends as if everyone around her is trash beneath her feet. I'm simply giving her a taste of her own medicine. That's not exactly the best line of logic, but I guess if I had power over Shigure, I wouldn't want her to forget it in a hurry. Still, this method just feels wrong. Even I have a hard time stomaching her treatment, and I'm not even going through it. It'd be better if I could consult her. I'm not sure what to ask. Then how about something more interesting? Such as? She lounges against the couch. Well, for one, yesterday, you were in a most compromising position with Rui Hayata on the Ferris wheel. A bolt of ice plunges into my stomach. I thought she only knew general information, mystery information, crime information. How could she have known about that? It seems there's quite an interesting story behind that. Who told you? You presumed that someone needed to tell me in order for me to know. Did you access the security cameras? That's certainly an interesting possibility. Nothing she says is satisfactory. Nothing. How did you know? How did you know about that? The same way I know that you were in District 6 3 nights ago on Inamoto's ridiculous capacity test. The same way I know that you watched a most entertaining, albeit mindless, robot fight at the theme park. The same way I know that your apartment key code is the frankly pitiful 14789. Not entirely sure how that's pitiful, but okay. She pauses, her eyes glittering in amusement. Womanly intuition. Bullshit. She's insane. I make it my business to know everything, Ishimoto. I work to speak past my dry throat. No one can know everything. No one. You're right. I just know everything that matters. I raise a glass of iced tea to my lips, but my hands are shaking. Why are you telling me this? Because, well, I have a little message for you. She elegantly rises to her feet, but her eyes have regained their cold sheen. Back off, Yama Ishimoto. You don't know what you're dealing with. She grabs my glass from my frozen hands and heads to the kitchen. Don't forget the animal on your way out. Shigure, who's seething with a mixture of rage and humiliation, promptly rips off the costume. Tanaka, you are with... Natsuki swiftly whips around, staring Shigure dead in the eyes. Then, in one fluid motion, she stuffs something into Shigure's pocket and whisks into the kitchen. Shigure stares at whatever Natsuki gave to her, then motions sharply to me. There it goes. Ishimoto, we are leaving. Now. I don't even get a say as I'm forcibly dragged out of the apartment and back to the street. We stagger into the cutting night air, out of breath and stooped over in shock. I take a moment to gather my thoughts before I can force out any words. Why did you bring me here? To be miserable? To show me I was in over my head? To give me yet another reason why I'm an incompetent subordinate? I can't handle her alone. I don't think we handled her together. Actually, that was the most bearable she's ever been. Either my Shigure translator just became embedded in my subconscious, or this woman is speaking like everyone else. Not only that, she actually gave me a compliment that wasn't backhanded. Who is this imposter, and what has she done with Shigure? Nevertheless, Ishimoto, you're fired. Wait, what? Did she just call me by... What? She's firing me? Yes, I'm firing you. You have fulfilled all necessary services. I no longer see a reason to expend resources on a useless assistant. She seems almost back to normal. Almost, but it's too abrupt for me to believe that she's being genuine. If you interfere with my work, I will have you detained. I have connections with the police. I prefer not to use it, but I will if I must. Why? Oddly enough, Shigure seems to falter at this simple inquiry. It's for your own safety. You must trust me. Trust. It's a nice word. And this has nothing to do with Natsuki's warning on how I should stay out of this? Truly, you were my assistant for a reason. What's that supposed to mean? It is of little consequence. You were fired because you no longer fit the job. I clenched my jaw and hold back my pulse of anger, which was basically being an errand boy. Pardon me if I fail to see the extensive qualifications that an errand boy needs to fulfill. Click. There it goes. Let me tell you my own theory, huh? The independent killings, you know an awful lot about them, considering that they're supposed to be hidden from the general public. You were involved in those cases in some way, weren't you? And when you noticed that 2 students had disappeared from the allegedly impervious academy, something clued you in that they had to be tied to the independent killings. Maybe it was evidence, probably just intuition, considering you had to get Natsuki to confirm it for you. Ishimoto, you do not understand. So you saw that students were disappearing from the academy, and 4 days ago you decided you needed to get inside and figure out for yourself what was happening. But security is tight. You couldn't hope to just snoop around unless someone willingly let you in. In the midst of my indignant wrath, the puzzle pieces began to shuffle into place, pulling together fake memories that I thought I'd forgotten. So you had to approach a student. You had to make a specific connection, someone who would let you investigate the school without asking any questions. You hired me before you were officially brought into the investigation, after all. Well, it's true, isn't it? You just needed to use me to access the academy. That's why you approached me on the street that day. Go home, Ishimoto. She says this wearily. I can only sigh in disbelief. Then, what was that test for? Why did you... You sent me to some place that was dangerous, some place I couldn't handle. But I had. I did, and I solved all of her stupid little puzzles. I had proved myself fair and square. For what? For being tossed away like garbage? No, now I understand. What upsets me is not that Shigure approached me with ulterior motives. I expect ulterior motives from everyone. What upsets me is what she's doing now. Tell me how. Ishimoto, tell me, Shigure, how do I prove myself? Give me some riddle or a logic puzzle or, I don't know, a complicated piece of Sudoku. I'm supposed to help, supposed to be your assistant. Shigure slams her foot into the nearest trash can. It doesn't topple, but the reverb of leather against the tin stops me in my tracks. She leans close, eyes narrowed with intensity. Ishimoto, I will only say this once. You may think you fully understand the circumstances which surround these crimes, but you are sorely mistaken. Do not be so quick to forget that I am nearly a decade your senior and have seen a great many cases that are beyond your comprehension. I speak not of your intelligence, but of your mental capacity. You are yet very fragile, Ishimoto, and this case may break you. That didn't worry you before. Then let me ask of you this. Are you ready to physically examine a body that has been masterfully taken apart by a sadist with all the time in the world? No, just the thought makes me queasy. There has to be something else I can do. Enough. I tire of this conversation. This is my decision, Ishimoto. I will be certain to compensate you for the time spent until now. Go home, safely. So that's it then. Because I'm still young. Because I'm too unstable to be able to see a mutilated body. I can't be of any use. Shigure. Farewell, Ishimoto. Let us not meet again. And just like that, she turns on one heel and strides away. For a moment, I stand frozen in the streets, watching her figure melt into the smoky evening air. Didn't I want a quiet senior year? A year of breezing by with my friends, no fuss, no muss? I had always wanted a quiet life, probably something that involved managing the family restaurant, which I had neither passion nor patience for, but seemed like the least painful option in the lot of life. Really, I can't blame Shigure. Can't I? No, some part of me still feels like I deserve a better explanation, maybe even a reward. After all, didn't I get her something vital from Natsuki Tanaka? No, that's right. I'm withholding information from her, information that I gathered from a confidential informant. Perhaps she doesn't trust me, but neither have I been trusting her. If anything, this encounter only solidified my decision. I don't know what will happen. I can't predict the actions of other people who are close to me. All that's left is to look around and keep digging. Try to pull things together myself, even if I'm just a random student at a random stuck-up school. Which means I need to start with anything weird that's happened over the past few days. Weird. Such as emails from unknown senders sporadically popping up. Pretty convenient timing when I think about it. Maybe I should just send something random, see how they respond. Oh, my butt. At first I thought there was nothing stupider than doing something that made no sense, regardless of whether I enjoyed it or not. Today I changed my mind about that. There are things worth doing, even if, at first glance, they make no sense. There are things that can be appreciated, even if they serve no use. There are things that deserve to be given a chance, even at their worst. But I didn't realize this until too late. Stupid troll wisdom to Crimson Crusade at lemonpost.com. Now, to head back home and get some rest. Guess it's been a long day. I dream of pools of sludge and laughing bones and shards of glass splitting across the edge of my skin. Ugh. I wake in a cold sweat with my heart thumping against my ribs. For a moment, I can only lie there breathlessly, struggling to collect my thoughts. It's over. You'll never have to do stupid, dangerous things again. You no longer have anything to do with those crimes. Unless, of course, it's by my own volition. I throw on my uniform and head to the kitchen, selecting some simple fruit for breakfast as I scroll through my phone. Looks like I have another email from the mysterious Crimson Crusade. I see. Life as a troll sounds quite difficult. I, too, would be upset if I was forbidden from forecasting the weather. How do you feel about this development? The plain, honest words are a soothing balm in the midst of all the deception I've undergone. I compose a valid response. I don't know. This was the first time I actually felt like I was good at something. Now that it's gone, I have nothing. If I had another chance, I'd take it eagerly, but I doubt I'll get one. I send the message as I finish up breakfast, waiting for a response. This time, though, I'm only greeted with silence. Maybe I was too philosophical. Maybe I was too serious. Maybe they won't respond again. Not that it's my problem. When it's clear that the reply won't come anytime soon, I grab my backpack and head to school. Despite the beautiful weather, the atmosphere is stifling. The entrance, usually occupied by students before class, is desolate. Curious, I head to the courtyard. It's almost just as empty, only a handful of students are scattered around the corners, whispering frantically beneath their breaths. I notice a solemn Yahiko on a bench nearby, speaking with an equally solemn boy. It's such an unusual sight that I creep closer, trying to get a hint of their conversation. Would take it so hard. How's he been? Hanging in there, I guess. He said that he wasn't coming today. Why not? Didn't say. He's been spending a lot of time in his dorm, though. He won't respond to me. And he just talked with Ari. Ari? Why would that matter? Come to think of it, Ari has always been surrounded by rumors, even before people accused her of being the source of disappearances. If I remember correctly, it wasn't that she caused the disappearances herself. Rather, she supposedly emitted this aura of bad luck that indirectly led to their misfortunes. Pointing fingers is usually unnecessary, but this is getting weird. She talks to Midori, and Midori freaks out, then disappears. Then it's Toma, who freaks out, and also disappears. Even Akane. And Soji too? Yesterday she came up to him at lunch. He won't tell me what they talked about, but he's also acting differently. For now, just keep trying to talk with him. Whatever you do, don't leave him alone. Right. See you after class. Yeah, you hang in there too, okay? As always. The boy strides away. Yahiko slumps on the bench, dropping his hand over his eyes. It's so out of character that I have to pinch myself to make sure I'm not dreaming. When I decide that I'm fully awake and that serious Yahiko is actually a thing, I approach the bench. Hey. Yahiko immediately bolts upright, all signs of tension melting from his face as he dons his characteristic smile. Why, hello, my good minion. What brings you to this place? That's suspicious. Still, I'd prefer that he not know I was eavesdropping on him. I'll play along. You know why the school's so quiet? Do I know why the sky is blue? Do you? Do I? He seems back to normal, if this is what his normal state really is. Oh, right. I remember. Apparently, the police dug up some body in the woods or something. Caused a big uproar. Why? Well, it was one of the disappeared students. You remember her, Akane Tsukino? That name definitely sounds familiar, and it's not just from the investigation. Her boyfriend's a wreck, the poor sap. Boyfriend. Akane, a disappearance, a boyfriend who was worried sick. She must be the girlfriend of the guy who I'd fought with the other day. Right, they were blaming Ari for her disappearance. And I stepped in, and right in her boyfriend's face, I told him he'd get over Akane in a week or two. body was found? Well, what's left of it. What was left of it? Hold on, something's beginning to make sense. That police officer, Officer Katsu, was it? Said that I was on a crime scene in that case. When was her body found? Don't tell me. Yesterday, or so the rumor goes. Yesterday morning? Yeah, how'd you know? An immense wave of guilt washes over me. Akane Tsukino, dead. I vaguely remember the harsh words I spewed at her boyfriend. Soichi, was it? No, Soji. How could he be feeling now? You'll get over her in a week or two. I'd said that. I'd said that when I thought he was clingy and irrational for blaming Irie. But now she's dead, brutally murdered in the depths of the Isamu forest without a single soul to mourn her passing. On the bright side, if there is one, I now understand far more than I used to. Why Officer Katsu was at the forest, why he claimed it was a crime scene, why Shigure asked me to go look. Because a body had been found, an actual body. Hey, you okay, dude? Looks like Yahiko noticed my silence. I can only continue my line of inquiry. At the very least, maybe I can somehow help the investigation, even without Shigure. Soji's the name of her boyfriend, right? Yeah, do you know him? Yeah. How? At the most inconvenient moment, the warning bell tolls. Yahiko immediately grins. Whoops, guess that's the bell. I mustn't have my perfect reputation tainted by rumors of tardiness. He strides to our classroom, beckoning for me to follow, even stranger. I apprehensively walk alongside him, wondering just how much I actually know about Yahiko Ikari. I used to believe that I knew everything about Yahiko. He seemed simple at first glance, or readable as my books from 3rd grade. I still remember how he looked, somehow pulling 3 bulky suitcases through the door, with his skinny arms. He was smiling then, too. In fact, I rarely saw him without a smile. Hello, Rumi! I had already unpacked and was currently lying in my bed, reading some novel or another on my phone to pass the time. Didn't even look up to issue my greeting. Yo! The name is Yahiko Ikari. From today and onward, I am your new overlord. This caught my attention. I hastily glanced up. First thing I noticed was his hair. It was bright yellow, for one thing. That made it pretty noticeable. It was also cut around his face in swaying layers like he was some kind of idol. The next thing I noticed were his shoes. Most of the kids at the academy had nice shoes, of course, but his were on a different scale of nice. They were loafers, brown, like usual, but they were also etched with unusual designs that glowed in the sheen of some expensive material. Later, I found out that they were custom-made from Italy. Not that I needed to know that to make my judgment. I returned to my book, bored. Womanizer, rich kid, arrogant, neat freak. At the very least, this type wouldn't be a terrible roommate, as long as I didn't have to talk to him. When I think about now, it really shouldn't come as a surprise that his parents are higher-ups at Lemonsgate. His grades are nowhere good enough to get a scholarship, and yet he waltzes into this expensive, prestigious school wearing Italian loafers and, probably, scarves from Sweden. Not to mention that, as ignorant as he might be in anything of value, he's always up to date on the latest pop culture and technological releases. Hey, pay attention to me. What does that mean? So you're paying attention? I expected him to explode in a fit of angry entitlement. Do you know who I am? Do you know who my father is? Do you know what I could do to you? But he did something completely unexpected. He dropped his luggage and immediately raced to my side, his eyes shining. Are you speaking another language? I've always wanted a multilingual minion. This is perfect. I amended my first impression from arrogant to crazy. Regardless, this was a pretty good opportunity to have some fun. Can you write that all down? You can't write? Does that mean yes or no? So, wait, what? The bewilderment on his face was so genuine that I couldn't help but laugh. Of all the people I'd met, this guy had to be the most gullible. My name's Yama. Oh, I understood that. Really? Yes, well, it's only to be expected. Someone as amazing as me can pick up a language in a snap. I see. Can you understand this? Yeah. What about this? Yeah. And this? I understand it. I understand it all. Wow, that's amazing. You know, all 20 dialects of my language. He beamed with pride. Of course I do. I'm an Ikari. I see. So, what planet are you from? Planet? Well, that was a sudden jump. Jupiter. Really? I didn't know people lived on Jupiter. Not people. Jarzites. I paused for dramatic effect before reeling off anything that came to mind in that moment. We are invincible from physical impact. We are humanoid, but our blood is blue. We abhor earthen insects and have a strong affinity towards animals. Wait, let me take notes on this. I need to know how to best utilize the Jarzite minion. He eagerly dug through his luggage, tossing clothes, cosmetics, lemon skate tech here and there in the midst of his frantic search. I shook my head in disbelief. Did he actually believe I was from another planet? Okay, I'm ready. Hit me with it. Write down the following phrase. Yeah? This is a joke. This is, funny. In our world, that means you're just messing around. Was he serious? That's what this is, a joke. I'm from Earth. No, silly. You're a Jarzit. I was joking. I'm not a Jarzi. An actual human. What? Yes, he was serious. He was actually serious. Why did you tell me you were a Jarzit? This guy would pretty much believe anything, wouldn't he? Tired of providing explanations, I simply returned to my book, but Yahiko almost hid it out of my hands. What about your name? Was that a lie too? What? Your name, Yama. If you really want to check, our names are on the door. His face immediately turned blank. I sighed. You didn't see it when you came in? There are two nameplates, Yahiko and Yama. Well, my good minion, never fear. I hold nothing against you for concealing such vital information from me. I didn't conceal any... Now, if you may grant me silence, I must unpack. I sighed again and returned to my book, resigning to bear with this obnoxious roommate for the entire year. My opinion of him hasn't changed much since then. He's still egotistical, oblivious, and mildly insane. But he always means well, even in the oddest ways. Despite my frequent criticism of him, his stupid actions actually cheered me up. Now that he seems to be struggling with something, I want to repay the favor. Okay, I'm going to end it here because I am all out of time for today. It was definitely interesting getting fired by Shigure and finding out that Natsuki is a bitch. It's the nicest way of putting it. She's a psychopathic bitch. I knew I didn't like her. Well then. I'm going to end it here. We'll pick back up, hopefully, with cheering up Yahiko.
Hi! Hello! How are you? It's my baby.
We'll pick up here and hopefully cheer up Yahiko and see if we can get some more information about these murders. I wonder what's going to happen with Shigure, and I really hope that she's not one of those people who turns up dead, because if I remember correctly, the information that Ryuka, was that the teacher's name? The guidance counselor? The information he gave us stated that everyone who disappeared had some kind of mental disorder, something that was going on psychologically. And if I'm correct, Shigure has some kind of autism, potentially Asperger's. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I have a nephew who has Asperger's, and he's brilliant and very cuddly, and I adore him. He's a good kid. Good kid. All my sister's kids are good. So, interested to see what's going to happen. I really want to know what's gonna happen. So, I'll see you guys later, and remember to do something nice for a stranger today. You may just save a life. Bye!